Hi, it's Bren.
Hi, it's Mike.
And welcome to another edition of
Power Couples.
Power Couples.
And I'd like to introduce our co-power couple, Bren and Felicia White.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Nice to be here. Nice to be back.
Good to see you again. So today's Power Couples Hangout is going to be about a topic that I think is really important for an online business, or really any business, and it's about being consistent and persistent. So we're gonna, all four of us are going to be giving you tips and some experience from our years of being in an online business, and persistence and consistency. I know for us, persistence has been a huge part of being able to be as successful as we are, because just to tell you a little bit about our story, we started, it's been about 2 years now. Our sponsor, we've been following him and his videos, and we developed a trust and a relationship with him through his online presence, which is something that we've wanted to emulate. And so he was talking about this opportunity, and we actually had to talk about it quite a few times.
Over several months.
Over several
months.
Yeah, we did the research like probably most people do before you invest into a business opportunity, and but we also had that huge trust factor with the person that we knew. He actually lives in Cincinnati. His name's Sam Crowley, and so we made a decision. We were in a small apartment in New York City. I was doing an internship in fashion design. So in my careers, I've been a nurse and an esthetician. I've worked in the spa industry, and I also went back to school for a degree in fashion design. So we're in this tiny little apartment. Basically.
They think bathroom.
Yeah, it was supposed to be, let's see, basement was 400 square feet, but actually 100 square feet of that was the hallway.
Yeah.
Which you could do nothing with.
A narrow hallway you can do anything with.
Right.
Oh.
We pulled up with a truck full of stuff, and when we walked in, we both just like, our jaws dropped, like, okay, we're going to be here for the next 4 months. But anyway, that's.
Well, I can imagine. I don't know what sorcery they use when they take pictures, but they make the place look like 1,000 square feet when they take them.
Yeah, it looks like a mansion.
Oh my gosh, that's just wrong. That's
So, right, and it's such a memory in my mind, because we were at the same time just really interested in this opportunity, and like I said, we'd built up a trust with Sam, and so we knew that he wouldn't be involved in something that wouldn't be worth looking into. So we still talked about it, and we had a phone call with him, and that's when we made a commitment. And then it took us a little bit of time. We were brand new, like completely new to any kind of an online business. So we were starting out from scratch, and I think one of the huge game changers for us is when we went to an event.
Yeah, it was.
And that was maybe a few months later. We went to Nashville, and we're actually going to back to Nashville. So it's kind of like revisiting that event. But we just got to see, just meet people, connect with people, and the tips and the training that we got. We had notebooks full of notes, and that's when we really got excited. And I remember shooting a video on our way home in the car. We just dove in, and we haven't looked back. And we've had these game changers as we've gone, but the persistence, I think, of making a decision, and once you make the decision, doing all your research up front, and getting everything together beforehand. But once you make that decision, you just be persistent no matter what, because you're going to have your times where there's going to be dips and there's going to be high points, and it's going to go like that. So if you don't have that commitment of being persistent, you're not going to make it. So that's a little bit about our story. And Brian and Felicia, I'd love to have you share your story.
Sure.
Sure. Well, back in 2009, we both lost our jobs within 9 months of each other. I worked for the phone company for 13 years, and Felicia was an office manager. And over the years, I've had a few jobs of like 10 years, 5 years. And back in 2009, I was, what, 44? Yeah. So I was, at some point, you're like, I'm getting too old to keep starting over, So we decided to, put our fate in our own hands and not be at the mercy of the company. There was one company I worked for. It was a factory, and it had been in Columbus for 50 years. And I get a job there, and 2 years later, they shut down and moved to Iowa. So, job security is a thing of the past. That's for sure. So we used our unemployment checks to get started in our first network marketing company. And although it wasn't a huge financial success, we learned a lot while we were in that company. Absolutely. That's for sure. Yeah. And I think we signed up one person in that company in a year. So talk about persistence. We were cold calling realtors. Yeah. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. And we had this script we would read and cold call realtors and get hung up on. But we just kept, we kept at it and kept at it. Yeah. And we've been in a few companies since then, but we've planted our flag with our current company, and we've been in it since the week it launched back in November of 2011. Yeah. And we're still at it.
Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, like you said, Brian, you're not guaranteed, just because you work at like a brick and mortar company, that's not a guarantee of job security.
Right.
Well, look at just a few years ago with the market crash, how many companies shut down? Just look across the board. There is no such thing as job security. The only security you have is you and what you can do.
Yeah, I saw an article recently. It said the average young person these days will have 26 jobs in their lifetime. 26.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we have the power to create our reality, and there's no reason to settle for mediocrity when we're meant to do so much more. So yeah, it's time to go for freedom, people.
Right. And when you have your own business, your own online real estate, that's
yours.
It's yours. So
that's right. And you are in control of your results. It matters on, how much action you take and how much you are consistent and persistent to be able to, get those results. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, we'll share with you our first tip on consistency, and that would be being consistent with blogging daily.
It's my favorite. I love blogging. Let me step up my soapbox.
Yeah, we are right there with you, bud. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's great.
And it comes down to, there's lots of reasons why you want to be consistent with blogging. Okay, or any type of media, whether it be if you want to plant your flag with blogging or podcasting or video or a combination thereof, is get into that rhythm, being consistent. And there's a lot of reasons why. Number one is your audience. Your audience starts to depend on looking forward to you. So for instance, if you're blogging daily, which I highly recommend, what happens is that your audience starts looking for it. You start thinking, okay, when's your next blog post coming out? And they'll start visiting your site. If you're sporadic, you blog twice, 1 week, one week, 3 times the next, they're not gonna know when it's gonna happen, okay? Now, if you have a really crazy schedule and you can only have certain blocks of time, there's different ways to get around it. One way is especially for blogging, you can schedule it. Do everything in the big blocks called chunking. You do a bunch of your blog posts, maybe on a weekend or for a few hours you have, and schedule it so it comes out at the same time throughout the week. So it's a great way of doing that and getting that information out there. There's a lot of different things you can do with your business for chunking, but it's one way of keeping consistency so your audience is always there. Another reason too, and you can also do that with video too. YouTube also allows you to schedule your videos as well, so you can do the same thing with videos. Another reason is Google loves that. It sees that you have consistent data coming out, consistent content coming out, and therefore your site to be recommended for other people, because Google likes the fact you have content, fresh content. You got to keep in mind the whole mandate for Google is to end search. So if it sees you have lots of content coming out, there's a good chance, especially on certain keywords, Google's going to give you a higher priority over someone who's very, very sporadic. Okay?
Yeah, and that's why the 21-day challenge is such a cool thing, because I know you guys are fans of Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz book, classic book, but you know,
Absolutely.
study that to develop a habit, it will, and it's been kind of debated. I don't know if you've read some of that stuff, but
I have, yeah.
yeah. But he said to develop a habit, it usually takes people 21 days of doing something consistently, and so that is a great way for people starting out to just, if you can commit to a time frame, and you know, in 3 weeks. Is that 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks is a good amount of time that if you do that consistently, then you probably are getting in a good habit of doing that every day. You kind of develop your muscle and those skills to keep doing it.
And another thing too, like we recently did a blog post a couple of weeks ago about developing habits versus your willpower. Like for instance, it's the same thing if you're trying to lose weight at the gym, go to the gym, lose weight, blogging, you need to get into and develop the habits. You can't do something by sheer willpower. So you need to get into the habit of doing something on a regular basis. And that's why it's good to block off times throughout the day or during the week that you can do and allocate to certain activities. By getting to that habit, you increase the likelihood that you're going to succeed. If you just try to do it by sheer willpower, you're going to be filled out.
I know you guys have done the 21-day challenge, and did you find like after a while you are like, I am going to get this out, and you start writing, and it's almost a stream of consciousness writing that you're writing out, because you're like, I'm getting this out. I know I have this idea and it's good, and I'm committing this block of time. And it's surprising what can come out of you if you really say, okay, I'm going to do this every day, and I'm going to commit to a certain time. It's like almost stuff comes out of your head that you're not, where did that come from?
Right, right.
Yeah, we're on day 100 today. Our
100.
And we actually have like the next 9 done. So we're like ahead, and we keep kind of staying ahead.
Right. But even prior to us starting the 21-day challenge, when this whole thing started years ago, when we first got in our first company, we started blogging, and we became consistent way back then. So that just came natural when this challenge, you know, was implemented. That was just a natural thing for us, was just to keep it going, you know. So you might as well say, yeah, it's 100 in this particular 21-day challenge. This is our 3rd round of 21 days, but and then those days in between, but also years, you know, prior to this. So that's the power of a habit, is yes, you get into that, and especially if you're passionate about something, you really love it, you're gonna want to continue that momentum and habit. Yeah, going.
Yeah, and I remember at our first event was Chicago, and Lawrence Tam said that if you're a woman, you need to be doing video. So we got home from that event, and she did 90 videos in 90 days.
Wow,
awesome.
wow.
That's so cool. And that's how I first saw you guys, and you know, because you guys have so much amazing content out there, and so that's actually, I started watching your videos, Felicia, and I think you were in some, Brian, if I remember right.
Yeah, a few.
You know, here and there, but yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely works.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think it builds momentum too. You know, if you keep doing it. If you're sporadic, it's hard to build any momentum at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that has so many benefits. Yeah, your own ability to do it, and also to your audience, and then for Google and even YouTube, because having that momentum increases your likelihood of being found. Your audience is going to enjoy it, and plus you get in the habit of doing it.
Yeah, and you think about it, like, you know, if you went to a store and some days they were open and some days they weren't, you know.
Or your favorite restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
And you come and they're like, oh, well, we just decided we were going to open the doors today. You know, how long would you keep going back to a place if it wasn't consistently having a certain quality, a certain amount of hours? And, you know, it's like that trust factor that if somebody's consistent, then you know they're stepping up to the plate every day. Then you want to invest in them and keep coming back, and especially if it's really good content. So
that's a great example, Bren. I just have to throw that in there. That's an excellent example of the restaurant and the store. Like, that's so true. It's so spot on.
I think it's also good for your team. You know, you want to lead by example. You can't tell your team to blog daily and then you're blogging once a month.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. They do what you do, not what you say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because especially somebody starting out, and when it is, you're getting over that first initial. It's like if people you're following aren't doing it, then you're not going to have the incentive. But okay, well, I thought maybe we could go with some tips that you guys have. We could go back and forth a little bit. I feel like we've been saying a lot.
Sure. Oh, it's great. It's great to have this interaction. Yeah, so it's important to have consistency in a daily routine. So like your morning routine. For us, like every morning we get on the Think and Grow Rich call. We read, and I'm sure you guys do, we read 30 minutes a day, every day, listen to audios every day, pick one thing and get in the habit of doing it every day. Like you were saying, Mike, you get into a habit. That can be blogging, that can be video, that can be even posting on Instagram, Pinterest, or Twitter, any social media. It's just getting into that habit, and I'm sure you'll go into like email, that too, just pick something and get the routine down. But I think mindset is a lot of it, because when you're feeding your mind the right kind of things, then it's going to become easier to develop those habits, because you have the mindset that you want something. And I'll go into, this is from chapter 9 of Think and Grow Rich, the chapter about persistence. There's 4 steps to develop persistence, and here's what I talk about when I say you have that desire. The first one is a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a definite plan expressed in continuous action. 3 is a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, or acquaintances. Right? That's a big one. And then number 4 is a friendly alliance, like you guys, a friendly alliance with one or more people who will encourage one to follow through both plan and purpose. So that's what I feel like we have with this Power Couples Hangout. We have this, alliance, this mastermind where we're, feeding off each other, and we're also delivering this value to help others so that they can become successful in their endeavors as well. So, those are the 4 steps to develop persistence, which I think anyone can use, whether you are in a relationship with your spouse or not. I mean, someone else. You're just for anyone. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm tired.
No, that's so true. And I love how he says the burning desire, because I think, you see people that, you have to have that belief, you have to have that burning desire to do it. And that's, I feel like that's so critical to having the persistence, is just
well, because inevitably you're going to come across challenges. No matter how successful your business is going, it's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Right.
It could be your YouTube channel shut down. It could be your internet could be shut down for a little while. It could be something outside, external forces, family, whatever else. Something's going to happen. But if you have the persistence and the willpower and the burning desire, you're going to find a way around that. Always find a way around it. You have the persistence to keep through no matter what is thrown at you.
Yeah, I've heard David would say, like, have the vision bigger than yourself. When you have that huge vision, then that gives you that like white hot burning desire, because you have that fuel of passion that wants to push you and make it bigger than yourself. it's about other people. It's about giving back in the world. There's just so much more to it than just, you know, if you're in it for just the money, then it's not, you know, necessarily going to come. It can be more of a desperation type thing. But if you are in it for the vision, then the money's naturally going to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you think about it, you know, when you build a certain level of success, you know, like you said, you have the money, and then, you know, what's your why beyond that? And it becomes, you know, that feeling you get from seeing others succeed, and being able to let people know that there's another way. And there's an alternative if you don't like what you're doing, if you don't like your job, if you want to have that freedom, that there's another way. And being able to bring that message out and help people achieve that. I mean, that's...
I don't know any other way that you can actually pursue your passion, talk about your passion, blog about your passion, and get paid for it no matter what your passion is.
Exactly. There you go. That's right.
So I'm just looking over at my notes here a little bit. We also wanted to talk a little bit about emailing consistently and the consistency where email is concerned. I think, you know, with what we do, because our business is online, and a lot of the way, again, you build up the trust factor and you connect with the people that are potentially going to be on your team is through email. And so it's just really important to be consistent with email, kind of along the lines of blogging, is because if you would email your list sporadically, or, you know, just in chunks at a time, and then not email, then again, people are not necessarily going to find you as trustworthy, or they get used to getting emails daily, or, you know,
or they may even forget who you are, right? They're kind of start getting a whole bunch of emails. They might even forget. They might have recognized you initially, and then with everything else going on, if you haven't had that impression of being there, always there, kind of waiting for them, then they may forget who you are.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, related to that, I just kind of wanted to throw out there for people that, depending on your experience level with sending out emails, about time of day and day of the week, or how often, and maybe you can touch a little bit on what we do, and it's related to who our target audience is, you know, depending on what time of day, being consistent with that, and how often kind of depends on who your target is, and, you know, what you're trying to achieve. But for us,
yeah, we try to hit, depending on when our emails are, the two target times, like either 7 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's based on where you are in time zone across the world. So no matter wherever it is roughly around 7 o'clock, roughly around 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, and depending, because usually we'll send our blogs at night because people have a chance to relax after work or whatever, or they can save it for the next morning. Yeah. So, and then we'll send sometimes if we're gonna have extra emails, we'll send them 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And then just to be consistent and congruent with your email, and you know, that it's congruent message, that you're, you know, somewhat bringing across your brand and who you are, and with your own voice, and being consistent and congruent throughout, you know, your blogging and your emails. I think that's important too, because it's all about people. You're building a relationship, you're building that trust, and you're getting to know people. And so, you know, if you're like I said, if you throw out sporadically, you know, a bunch of emails, and then you don't email for a couple weeks or 3 weeks, and then it's just not going to have that same feeling and that same trust factor. And then the content that you have within your email, having it be consistently from your own voice.
Yeah, and we email our blog posts. So since we're blogging regularly, it just automatically gets content to mail our list. And I know if I were on the receiving end, if I'm enjoying the blog posts, I'm expecting to have that blog post waiting for me at that same time roughly every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have time set aside, just like you do with blogging, to for your email list too, a certain time of the day.
Well, we definitely email daily, every day. And I guess it just kind of depends on Like if there's a hangout going on.
Yeah, there's specific like company trainings or of some sort, then sometimes those are more impromptu. Like we have to, need to send it out right away, depending on what the case is. A lot of it's just dependent upon that. But we definitely email our blog post as well, and then and of course this hangout. But yeah, I mean, sometimes the company will give you swipe copy to use, and I agree wholeheartedly with your point about it being congruent with your message, with who you are, because in the past, some of the swipe copy did not sound like us at all. So not to be mean or anything, whoever wrote it, but it just wasn't us. So it's important to, yes, take, little bits and pieces of it that it's, speak with what's going on, but you need to, make it your own so that people know that you're not talking all crazy. You know what I mean?
That reminds me of a story where I was using a little bit of swipe copy initially when we first got started. Actually, probably even 6 months in, and someone on our list called me out. He said, "Did you write that email?"
Did you really say it? Mike never says badass.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like certain things, that you wouldn't, that just is not you, it's nothing against the person, but it's just, yeah, that's hilarious.
I replied back, said, "Did you really write that?"
Yeah. Which is to show you, it comes through. I mean,
yeah.
If you're not putting it in your own words and changing it up, then people they can tell.
Yeah, and even sometimes most of the swipe email it'll say I, because they're not like couples, whoever wrote it is like one person, a specific person in the company. So we'd have to go through we always go through and change it to we or us, so they know that we're doing this, building this together,
Yeah. Well, good. Well, if you want to let people know, if you're interested in knowing about what the tools and training we're using to have our online business, then you guys want to.
Wow, I can't believe this. Is that 30 minutes already?
I know.
Yeah, time flies, doesn't it?
It really does.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, just if you have any questions, comments, if you want to see what we're doing to create freedom in our lives and the lives of others, then certainly get back to whoever invited you here, and we'll be happy to help you out. Definitely.
Definitely. So, well, thanks guys. Another great hangout, and thank you everyone that's joined us either on the live hangout or on the replay. And we have these couple hangouts every Thursday at 7 o'clock. And so join us again on Thursday at 7. So thank you for joining us, and everybody have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Take care. Bye-bye.